Good day once again. I want to welcome everybody to Math Invisible tutorial, in which in this video we'll be working on SOD. I know some students are finding it challenging for them to tackle any question regarding SOD, and this video, I believe it will be of help. So firstly, before going into SOD, going deep into SOD, we first talk about radicals. So from here, radicals are root and SOD expressed as what? Expressed as root n x. You understand that expression, root n x. So where n is what? Is any real number and x is any positive integer. So sometimes x can be negative integer, based on what the power of the root is telling us. So, but as we are solving some questions, we understand what I'm trying to say here. So x can be positive and can be negative integer, but most of the time when x is negative integer for a root, or for a root, when n is positive, there will be no solution. So but we will soon get there, sure. So root are radicals that the square roots are perfect square numbers and must be rational numbers. So what are rational numbers? Rational numbers are quotients of two integers, such as what? As 2 over 3, cube root of 8 over 2. You know the cube root of 8, which is actually what? Which is actually 2, and square root of 4. So when we talk about roots are radicals that both root and SOD are radicals actually. But roots are radicals that the square's root or the n root must give us a perfect number. Should get now. And must be rational number. So it must be in form of rational number. So and rational numbers are quotients of two integers. That is 2 over 3. And as been mentioned here. So thus example of root are what? Cube root of 8 is 2, square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, and cube root of 27 is what? Is 3, and then hundredth root of 81 is what? Is 3. So let's go to SOD. SOD are radicals that the square root are non-perfect square numbers and must be irrational numbers. So, and what are irrational numbers? Irrational numbers cannot be expressed as quotient of two integers, just that 2 square root of 3 over 3, cube root of 5 over 2, cube square root of 7. So, and let me just give you this clue. All the square root of prime numbers are what? SOD. So, and that is it as SOD. So how can you simplify radicals? That is what they are talking about here. This session will help in simplifying some same complex radicals. Some examples will be solved before then, and let us note few key things when simplifying radicals, that is either SOD or what, or root. So know that the first thing is that what? Know that a square root of x is not a root of x. That is the first thing you must know. Most students commit this blunder. So you must take note of this. A root x will never be equal to a root of x. Always avoid this mistake, please. So a root x will never be equal to what? A root of x. Shall you get now? So there is difference between a square root of x and what? A root of x. So another thing you should know is that what? The alternative way you can rewrite a root of x is what by saying x raised to power 1 over a, because actually your surd or your root can be definitely be expressed in form of what, in form of indices too. So you get now, so in form of indices. So if you don't have the idea of indices, I've uploaded some videos regarding indices. You can go back to the video, sit down, watch it, learn. I solved a lot of questions there, and I believe you are going to take out something. So the third thing that you must know is that what, a, yeah, you can see now I've tried to simplify or express the difference between a square root of x, which is not definitely equals to what, a root of x. Sure you get now. And a root of x is what, is equal to x raised to power 1 over a, and a square root of x is what, the alternative way you can write it is what, square root of x multiplied by a square, and if you split them it will be square root of x multiplied by square root of a raised to power 2, and putting it in putting that square root of a raised to power 2 in indices or index form, square root of x will be multiplied by what, a inside parentheses a raised to power 2 multiplied by power of 1 over 2. And if you, from, like I said earlier, if you don't have the basic knowledge of indices, I will urge you and I will beg you, you should go back to the video that I've made regarding indices. Yeah, you will see it. It's in my YouTube channel and TikTok. So definitely the expression is going to give you a, and that was why we are having a square root of a, which will never be what, you can see that the final answer is totally different from each other, which will never be what, which will be never be equals to a root of x. So another thing you should know that whenever you are having a root, at the beginning of this class I've made mention of something, that your x can actually be what, can actually be negative too. But if it is negative or positive, let's just focus on negative now. How can you determine that there will be solution for that kind of surd expression or no solution? This 4 and 5 is going to what, is going to let you know about that. So a root of minus x will definitely be equals to what, in index form will be what, parentheses minus x all raised to power 1 over a. So you get this, there will be solution if your a is odd number. But if your a is, I mean the root, should I put it in coefficient form? Okay, so if a in that expression is even number, there will not be solution. So you don't need to stress yourself solving. So just tell the examiner that what, there's no solution for that kind of thing when what, when your a is what, is even number. So I believe you note all these rules first, so before we solve some examples. So, and these are the examples. So the first example said that what, you should evaluate square root of 54. So how can you solve this? These are the solution regarding the example given above. So, and the example B was square root of 108, and this one is 4 root of minus 16, and this one is square root of 3969, and this one is expression of 1 over square root of a inside parentheses 3 square root of 64 a raised to power 3, everything all raised to power minus 1. Don't be panicking with that example. It's very simple, though I may not explain it, but I make my solution to be what, to be stepwise. Sure you get it now. I solve it stepwisely, and I believe you are going to decode and understand the steps I use in solving this example. But let me just go to the first example, which is square root of 54. So how can you solve this? how can you determine? Actually, you should know via looking at her square root of 54 is not what? It's not a root. It's actually what? A surd. So, and let's find out. So the first thing that should come to your mind is that because you have to simplify, how can I reduce to the lowest surd or lowest root? That should be the first thing that must come to your mind. So now let's see square root of 54. Anything can give you square root of 54. Like 9 times 6, if you can see that 18 times 3 will definitely what give you 54. Yeah. And you can say that what 27 times 2 will definitely give you what? Will give you 54. So anyway you manipulate it, you will definitely derive at what? At the same answer. Shey you get now? But the reason why I just go directly to the what? To 9 times 6 is because what? I know that what? 6 is a surd. And at the back of your mind, when you are dealing with surd question, you must know that it's either you get a root or you get a surd. So you think of what kind of expression can you make on the question you are given for you to what? To simplify it into a whole number or a what? A surdical form. Sure, you get what I'm saying now? So that was why I go directly by saying that what? Square root of 54 will definitely be equals to what? Square root of inside parentheses 9 times 6. And now at the back of your mind that actually there is a rule for this. That is multiplications method of solving surd. You will soon get there. So you should know that you can split the root symbol. Shey you get now? So that was why I splitted what? I splitted the square root of 9 times 6 to be what? To be square root of 9 multiplied by square root of 6. I told you square root of 6 is a surd, while square root of 9 is a root. So how much is a root? Definitely you get a whole number or a whole integer. So what is the square root of 9? That is 3 times 3. And if you find the square root, that is what? That is 3. So and if you solve it in a in this shear method, you definitely what? Get the same answer. Because recall that square root of 9, I told you that you can re-express that square root of 9 in form of what? 9 raised to power 1 over 2. And recall at the back of your mind that 9 is what? Also what? 3 raised to power 2. So, and from the law of indices, recall that whenever you have a power inside a parenthesis and a power outside, you multiply both of them together. So definitely 2 raised to power 2 multiplied by 1 over 2 will give you what? That is what? 2 times 1 over 2, which is 1. So that is 3 raised to power, which is eventually 3. So that was why square root of 9 will definitely what? Give you what? 3. That is a perfect square. Perfect square root. So that is how to solve question 1a. And question 1b, square root of, I asked to find square root of 108. So the same thing. So here you can see that here I use square root of 9 times 12, in which you can use 36 times actually this is not the final answer. Yeah, in which you can use 36 times 3, because 36 times 3 will definitely what? Give you 108. Yeah, so now square root of 9 times 12 is what? Square root of 9 multiplied by square root of 12. Because square root of 9 is 3 multiplied by square root of 12. I did not know. Yeah, the solution is yourself. So, and then 3 times square root of 12. Recall that square root of 12 can also be simplified into another expression. That is 4 times 3. I told you your focus must be what? Either root or surd. So 4 times 3 you can use 6 times 2. But 6 times 2 is what? They are both surd. So, and there is another way you can solve this complex surd. So square root of 12 can definitely be expressed as what? 3 multiplied by square root of 4 times 3. And if you split that 4 times 3, you have 3 times square root of 4 multiplied by square root of 3. So definitely square root of 4 is 2 multiplied by square root of 3. So 3 times 2 times square root of 3 is what? 6 square root of 3. That was why the expression for what? 1/8 is equal to what? 6 square root of 3. I want to see, like I said, because there's no solution. Why? Because the root expression there is 4 root minus 16. Array being is 4 root 16, there is solution for it. And it will definitely be what? That is 4 root 16, that is 2 raised to power 4. The answers to be what? 2. Yeah, because 4 root 16, that is 16 raised to power 1 over 4. And 16 raised to power 1 over 4, you can express it as 2 raised to power 4. And 2 raised to power 4 multiplied by 1 over 4 will give you 2. But because what is inside that root symbol is what? Is minus 16. That's why there is what? There is no solution to it. Sure you get now. So, because A is what? Is even number. So, this is a solution for 1D. Because of our time, I'll be able to explain this. You can see 1D. And that is the solution for 1D. And this is 1E, the beginning of 1E. So, can check this through the steps, and then what? So let me scan through again, see what I've explained so far. So this is all about sort. It's all about sort. So the next time we talk about rules of sort and addition and subtraction of sort. God bless. Thank you so much. As you listen and you listen, you solve out some questions regarding sort. And if you have any question challenging, either in my YouTube channel or in TikTok, just in the comment section, just forward the question to me. I will help you to solve it. Thank you so much. God bless.